Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris, and here is the comic book extraordinary reviewer,
Josh Olderbaum.
And this week we are going once again into DC Universe Rebirth titles. Well, what did you think of overall this batch of titles we talked about this week, or going to talk about, I should say?
It was a big batch, but it was a good batch. It was a lot of really good comics and a lot of good discussion we can have.
We are going to review in this episode The Flash number 4, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 2, Green Arrow number 4, Aquaman number 4, Action Comics number 961, New Superman number 2, and Superwoman number 1. And as always, spoilers ahead. The Flash number 4, Teamwork. Mina discovers that the Speed Force links up to other speedsters like a magnet. Her and Flash figure out that whoever moves the fastest in this chain retains all the Speed Force. With info from Iris, Flash, Mina, and August locate the base of Dr. Carver. Dr. Carver has a suit that infuses him with the Speed Force artificially. He is not able to control the Speed Force, and it turns him into a tornado-like speed creature. They stop Dr. Carver by running around him, going faster than him and siphoning off the Speed Force. And at the end, the Flash reveals his secret identity to Mina. Well, we find out that the Speed Force locks onto other speedsters. That's pretty scientific in a way, and I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's a real different take from the Speed Force just being a sort of an other dimensional force that the speedsters tap into.
Yes.
Kind of like the Force in Star Wars. It's out there. You can tap into it if you have the training. To me, this sort of maybe hints at like a resolution to this story arc.
Right.
Maybe of all the newly powered speedsters maybe getting depowered at some point. And
it's kind of like a convenience where everyone has it, but it starts to rejoin, like the symbiote is. The pieces can go away, but eventually they all regroup into the fastest person. And then what happens to that fastest person, I wonder?
Yeah, and plus this causes problems because Godspeed is still out there.
Yes.
And this is how Godspeed has been killing speedsters, how he killed the ones at Iron Heights, is he just drained them of the Speed Force, which I guess is basically akin to draining their life force, sort of.
Well, that's very true, and almost leaves them for dead. What did you think about Dr. Carver and the reason that he wanted the Speed Force? He felt like the Speed Force should be for everybody.
Yeah, that was an interesting, sort of an interesting take on it. I liked the sort of the artificial Speed Force suit. I mean, obviously, right when he mentions that it, he has a suit that infuses him with the Speed Force, you kind of know something's going to go wrong, right?
Exactly.
But it was kind of a neat reasoning, and it also kind of hints at him not being the huge mastermind behind this.
Right.
I think, because he got taken out pretty quickly.
Yeah, taken out quickly, and the fact that the technology, when they studied it, Flash and Mina, it was foreign to him, alien almost.
Yeah, and Carver said to the Flash that he took the Speed Force from the gods.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been him being delusional or having a giant ego or whatever, but that could also imply some other connection.
I think his ego was the size of that tornado when they showed. Because that was pretty dang scary. I'm looking through and like, whoa, what's going on here? This is not a Speed Force friendly creature.
Yeah, which is funny because how they take it down by just running around it kind of harkens back to like the old Flash comics where if there was a tornado, he would just run around it and wait for it to dissipate. It's sort of beaten with the same sort of science.
Yeah, I don't think that he is the true mastermind.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wonder, like you said, I don't think he's Godspeed either, but we're going to find out pretty soon.
Yeah.
And then they showed a little bit of New 52 Wally West. Does he have mastery of his powers or not? Did he have it at one time? Do you remember?
He did it just a couple issues ago when he stole that file for Iris from the police, and he looked like he had pretty good control over that. But now he was trying to generate a costume with the Speed Force, and he couldn't quite do that. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe that's the new power. If New 52 Barry forgot how to do that, maybe now New 52 Wally is figuring out how to do that. I don't know. But I did definitely enjoy the the little note on his iPad saying, "Hey, have you
Yeah,
have you recently acquired super speed?"
And if so, call this number. Better
Yeah.
call the speedsters because we'll help you out.
Yeah.
They should have had a little lightning bolt that a person standing right behind it, in front of,
Yeah.
and just saying, "Have you been Speed Force enabled?
Yeah.
Do you know how to control your Speed Force?
Come to Star Labs.
Yeah, and we'll show you how to vibrate through walls."
yeah, and how to generate clothing out of the Speed Force. Yeah, that would be great.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And at the very end, of course, he reveals himself to Mina, Barry Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing or bad thing?
I don't know. I found it hilariously ironic that the guy who's the fastest man alive can't hold down a second job when he's training all these other speedsters.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see if, can Mina keep that a secret? She seems pretty worthwhile. I mean, she seems pretty respectable, but who knows?
I think you mentioned something earlier when we were talking before the show that Barry is he's more wrapped up in his Flash persona right now than his everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he'd rather just be Flash all the time, now that he has all his speedsters and he has more people to relate to, I don't think that his personal life is going to last much longer at this rate. So something's got to give there.
Yeah. He's already kind of making moves with Mina romantically instead of Iris, and I mean August is already in on it. August already tells him that if he doesn't show up at work, he's going to get fired.
Yes.
So
what was your overall take on the Flash?
This was good. I'm very curious to see where it goes from here. I'm expecting Godspeed to show up proper, since we really haven't seen him properly except in little tidbits from what obviously the little vision Barry had and the little tidbits that August was able to give when he was attacked.
Yep.
But I'm curious to see what his motives are and exactly where we go from here.
Exactly. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern's Corps #2, Sinestro's Law Part 2, Recon. The Green Lantern Corps makes it to Mogo, somewhere in deep space. They are down to 399 lanterns out of 7,200. The rings are not finding replacements. John Stewart asked Guy Gardner to do recon to find out their location in the universe. Soranik, Sinestro's daughter, realizes that Sinestro has manipulated her to establish the Sinestro Corps as the galaxy's new police force. Hal Jordan battles two members of the Sinestro Corps, Slush and Mosh. As Hal Jordan is interrogating them, Sinestro orders them to retreat. When Hal catches up to them again, he is surrounded by a larger group of Sinestro Corps members who have taken civilians hostage. Well, the Green Lantern Corps down to quite a lot less members than 7,200. What, 399 I said, or was it 200?
Yeah, that's a pretty dire situation.
Well, how far deep space are they if they're not being able to, like cell phone without reception? How far deep space are they to not have the rings go find replacements?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to find out exactly where they are. And, Mogo is a planet that can move itself around.
Right.
It seems like Mogo could at least get him there. Probably not quickly, but at least it could get him somewhere. But it is funny to almost see the entire Green Lantern network going down like, GPS. It has to recalculate. It's so weird.
Yeah, I was wondering as they all die, they run out of supplies, you're going to hit critical mass here eventually, and what are you going to do? They send out Guy Gardner to do recon, but how far can he go if the rings aren't communicating? Can he send a signal back to Mogo and John Stewart? Mm-hmm. I just kind of wonder.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if Hal and his new ring made out of willpower, if that's going to be maybe one of the cures for this situation.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Speaking of cures, Sinestro got cured using the parallax power, but now he has kind of a heart-to-heart with his daughter. His daughter realized she kind of got suckered in.
Yeah. It's sort of the explanation I needed for why Soranik was on the Sinestro Corps side and not on the Green Lantern side as she had been. That was one of the things I hadn't kept up with in the comics.
Right.
And I kind of figured that would happen. I mean, considering she was a Green Lantern like him. And so it makes me wonder, is she going to be maybe one of the reasons why the Sinestro regime fails. I mean, is she going to turn on him at some point? Because she's not happy with him right now.
No. The only one Sinestro cares about being happy is himself. Mm-hmm. And he'll do anything to hold the power in the universe with this corpse. And the corpse can follow him, and he'll want that. But as long as they recognize that he is the main person, he doesn't care what he has to do.
Well, and in his conversation with Soranik, it almost sounds like he does love her, but it's a sort of a father's love, but it is in his own weird, twisted way.
Right.
I mean, it's a very harsh, abusive love towards her.
Well, Sinestro finds out about Hal returning. And he's never ever happy whenever Hal is brought up.
Not really, no. Not really. And I doubt it would go the other way. But it was funny that Sinestro doesn't seem to be aware that the Green Lantern Corps have come back. Right. Because he calls Hal a Corps of One. Mm-hmm. So he's obviously not aware that John Stewart and the rest of the Lanterns have gotten out of wherever they were.
Yes. Do you think that maybe Sinestro has always held himself to a standard and held his corpse to a standard of being the police force of the universe, and he doesn't want any competition? But you think he's kind of afraid, hey, if Hal comes back, the rest of the Corps is not far behind, and then he has a power struggle with the rest of the Green Lantern for being the universe's police force.
Oh yeah, especially for Hal. I mean, he's really the one Green Lantern who can hold his own with Sinestro.
Yes,
and who's done it, historically. So yeah, I think he's maybe a little worried, but still, it sounds like the Sinestro Corps outnumbers them by a pretty good margin.
Yeah, the Ring's going to have to do some overtime to find new members, and then you got new members, and then you're going to have to train them.
Yeah,
and you're going to have to develop their skills. I don't think it's a good match. Even though Hal Jordan, between Hal, Guy Gardner, and John Stewart, they're very powerful, but the numbers just don't add up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, makes me wonder if some of the other Lanterns will start making an appearance soon, because we know Kyle Rayner's out there as the White Lantern.
Right.
We know the Star Sapphires are out there, the Indigo Tribe, the Blue Lanterns.
You can't forget about Kilowog. He's still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Green Lantern's a pretty good series so far, and I think it's really more about character development right now with Hal and Sinestro and Sinestro's daughter Saranac. Was that?
Yep.
Saranac, and then on the other end you got Mogo, Kilowog, John Stewart, and we also have Guy Gardner just kind of waiting to be reunited.
Yeah. For as much as I've loved all the Batman-themed comics in DC Rebirth, Green Lantern's kind of like my security blanket, because nothing really changed. I mean, from Green Lantern to the New 52, story arc stayed more or less the same. And then from the New 52 to the DC Rebirth, again, it's basically a continuation. So it's one that I'm nice and happy that I'm familiar with all the characters and I kind of know what's going on. So that makes me happy.
Good. It's nice whenever you can read some comic books that every issue is always meeting your expectations and you're never disappointed with it.
And it's always nice to read one when they have really obscure characters in them and I can say, I have an action figure of that guy. Yeah, that's always fun.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk and discuss Green Arrow number 4 and Aquaman number 4. So we'll be right back.